Once, long ago, in a land far away, there lived 4 little characters who ran through a maze, looking for cheese to nourish them and make them happy. 2 were mice named Sniff and Scurry, and 2 were little people, beings who were as small as mice, but who looked and acted like people today. Their names were Hem and Hoa. Due to their small size, it would be easier not to notice what the 4 of them were doing. But if you looked closely enough, you could discover the most amazing thing. Every day, the mice and the little people spent time in the maze looking for their own special cheese. The mice, Sniff and Scurry, possessing only a simple rotten brain but good instincts, searched for the hard, nibbling cheese they liked, as mice often do. The two little people, Ham and Hoa, used their brain, filled with many beliefs, to search for the very different kind of cheese with the capital C, which they believed would make them feel happy and successful. As different as mice and little people were, they share something in common. Every morning, they each put on their jogging suits and running shoes, left their little homes, and raced out into the maze looking for their favorite cheese. The maze was a labyrinth of corridors and chambers, some containing delicious cheese, but there were also dark corners and blind alleys leading nowhere. It was an easy place for anyone to get lost. However, for those who found their way, the maze held secret that let them enjoy a better life. The mice, Sniff and Scurry, used the simple but trial and error method of finding cheese. They ran down one corridor, and if you proved it empty, they turned and ran down another. They remembered how to help with cheese and quickly went to new areas. Sniff watched to smell out the general direction of the cheese using its great nose, and Scurry would lace ahead. They got lost, as might expect, went off in the wrong direction, and often bumped into the walls. However, 2 little people, Ham and Hoa, have very complex brains, with beliefs and emotion. It means life is more complicated and challenging. They realize the more sophisticated we find the cheese, they depend on the routines they learn from their past experience, over their ability sometimes clouded by the way to look they think. Eventually, in their own way, they all discover what they were looking for. They each found their own kind of cheese one day at the end of the corridor in Cheese Station C. Every morning after that, the mice and the little people dressed in their running gear and headed over the Cheese Station C. It was long before they each established their own routine. Sniff and Scurry continued to wake late every day and race through the maze, always following the same route. When they arrived at their destination, the mice took off their running shoes, tied them together, and hung them around their necks so they could get them quickly whenever they needed them again. Then they enjoyed the cheese. In the beginning, Ham and Hoa also raced toward cheese station C every morning to enjoy the taste new monster that awaited them. But after and then destination, the mice took off the long shoe, tied them together, and hung on their neck. So, knitting muscle didn't make it. Then, but after a while, a different routine set in for the little people. Ham and Hoa. In the beginning, Ham and Hoa also raced toward cheese station C every morning to enjoy the customers who waited them. But after a while, a different routine set in the little people. Ham and Hoa awoke each day a little later, dressed a little slower, and walked to cheese station C. After all, they knew where the cheese was and how to get there. They had no idea where the cheese came from or who put it there. They just assumed it would be there. As soon as Ham and Hoa arrived at cheese station C each morning, they settled in and made themselves at home. They hung up their jogging suit, put on their running shoes, and put on their slipper. They were become very comfortable now that they found the cheese. "This is great," Ham said. "There's enough cheese here to last forever." The little people felt happy and successful and thought they were now secure. It wasn't long before Ham and Hoa regarded cheese rounded cheese station C as their cheese. It was such a large store of cheese that they eventually moved their home to be closer to it and built a social life around it. To make themselves feel more at home, Ham and Hoa decorated the wall with sand and even drew pictures of cheese around them, which made them smile. One read, "Having cheese makes you happy." Sometimes Ham and Hoa would take their friends by to see their pile of cheese at cheese station C and point to it with pride, saying, "Pretty nice cheese, huh?" Sometimes they share it with their friends, and sometimes they didn't. "We deserve this cheese," Ham said. "We certainly had to walk long and hard enough to find it." He picked up the nice fresh piece and ate it. Afterward, Ham fell asleep as he often did. Every night the little people would waddle home full of cheese, and every morning they would confidently return for more. This went on for quite some time. After a while, Ham's and Hoa's confidence grew into arrogance and success. Soon they became so comfortable they didn't even notice what was happening. As time went on, Sniff and Scurry continued their routine. They arrived early each morning and sniffed and scratched and scurried around cheese station C, inspecting the area to see if there had been any changes from the day before. Then they would sit down to nibble on the cheese. One morning, they arrived at cheese station C and discovered there was no cheese. They weren't surprised, since Sniff and Scurry had noticed the supply of cheese had been getting smaller every day. They were prepared for the inevitable and know instinctively what to do. We prepared for inevitable and knew instinctively what to do. They looked at each other, removed the running shoes they had tied together and hung conveniently around their necks, put them on their feet, and laced them up. The minds did not overanalyze things. To the minds, the problem and the answer were both simple. The sea trains to Station C had changed, so Sniff and Scarlet decided to change. They both looked out in the maze. Then Sniff lifted his nose, sniffed, and nodded to Scarlet, took off on running through the maze. While Sniff followed as fast he could. They were quickly off in search of new cheese. Later that same day, Ham and Hoa arrived at cheese Station C. They had not been paying attention to the small change that happened taking They had not been paying attention to the small trends that had been taking place each day. So they took it for granted their cheese would be there, were unprepared for what they found. What? No cheese? Ham yelled. He continued yelling, no cheese? No cheese? As though if you shouted louder enough, someone would prepare. Who moved my cheese? He hollered. Finally, he put his hands on his hips. His face turned red, and he screamed at the top of his voice, "It's not fair!"